Hello everyone and welcome to session 3 of the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. My name is Randie Henderson and I am one of the Black Feminist Reading Circle members of this online group. This session runs from January 20th until June 2nd and includes 2 week-long breaks. Our democratically selected reading material is Harriet A. Washington's book, Medical Apartheid, The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present. Our book group meets each Tuesday evening from 6:30 to 8 on the Google Plus Hangouts on Air platform. You may find the Global Black Feminist Reader Circle on Google Plus, YouTube, and Facebook, and always feel free to join us in reading our story together.
Welcome everyone to the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. My name is Michelle Odom. I am located in Brooklyn. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Reading Circle along with Randie Henderson. You are invited to join the Reading Circle, and you can find information about us on Google Plus, where you can join our community page, or YouTube, where you can find our archived videos, and we also have a page on Facebook. We are in session 3, meaning this is the 3rd book that the group is reading. Reading Harriet A. Washington's Medical Apartheid, A Dark History of Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present. And tonight we're focused on chapter 9, Nuclear Winter, Radiation Experiments on Black Americans.
Hey, my name is Georgette Moses, and I'm participating in the warm spot of Columbia, South Carolina.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Venita Walker, and I'm joining you from Cromwell, Connecticut. Welcome.
Yes, I'm Joel Jones, coming from Charleston, North Charleston, South Carolina.
Hi, my name is Edwina, and I'm glad to see everyone. I'm here in Utah.
Hi, my name is Randie and I'm watching from Atlanta, and I'm moderating tonight.
Chapter 9, Nuclear Winter, Radiation Experiments on African Americans. In this chapter, we learn of the many ways the government, physicians, scientists, and those in power tricked, cajoled, found loopholes, lied, and experimented on Black people, poor people, and sick people. Harriet Washington provides information on the racism embedded in these experiments and how lack of education and integrity from the government aided in the detriment of the people exposed to plutonium, X-rays, skin lightening products, and radiation. The first section is called In the Beginning. Point A. On March 24, 1945, trucker Ebb Cade of Greensboro, North Carolina, was one of 4 passengers who suffered severe injuries from a car accident and was taken to the Manhattan Engineer District Hospital in Oak Ridge. Doctors said he would not live, but medical fortune smiled on him. He rallied quickly and within days was recovering nicely. Then Cade's luck ran out. Unknown to him, the hospital physicians assigned to his care were under contract to the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission, AEC. They were also under the supervision of Stone, the AEC Assistant Health Director, who had been searching for a moribund patient to inject with plutonium. On April 10, without his consent, and 5 days before setting his broken bones, military physician Joseph Howland injected Cade with 4.7 micrograms of plutonium, 41 times the normal lifetime exposure. The man-made element plutonium is a fiendishly toxic radioactive substance, one that Cade's body would harbor forever. The half-life, or time it takes half a dose of plutonium to disappear, is 24,056 years. Wright Langham, the chemist who devised the human experiment, justified the toxic injection by explaining to Manhattan Project physicians that the subject was an elderly male whose age and general health was such that there is little or no possibility that the injection can have any effect on the normal course of his life. But Cade was only 53 and held down a grueling job hauling long trucks. Except for a cataract, he enjoyed excellent health. The doctors justified the experiment of Ebb Cade based on his age and impending death. Do you think their attitude mirrors what we see today concerning Black people and the education system? Police brutality and other systematic strategies put in place to hurt the poor, Black, and uneducated. Oh, Randie. Why me? Do I think their attitude mirrors what we see today concerning Black people and the education system? Let me start with that. I don't know. I mean, their attitude was certainly that Black lives and poor lives don't matter. And so that is something that we see mirrored, I believe, in the education system and the police system, and the medical system and other systems today. But I don't know. I mean, I in terms of what they did, it was just so incredibly fiendish. It was just, I mean, they go over there and they get these Nazi doctors and let them loose on Black people, on white people, on poor people. And I don't know, as bad as things are, I don't know if I really think they're that bad today. I don't know. Somebody else have a thought on that question?
Well, I think on the educational level, Black children are being overlooked and not receiving proper educational or intellectual inspiration. They're being labeled and categorized and put in special programs People say that they cannot learn. In light of what's going on in today's society, this seems to me that there is an increased amount of police brutality in our neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
And that the young black males are targeted. I'm sure Ms. Sells would tell me that the young black females are the targets as well. Don't forget them.
I know, but what I mean is, do y'all know what a third-degree burn looks like?
Yes.
I have seen it, yes.
That's the kind of thing that they were systematically doing to people. One story is about radiating the gonads. Does anybody know what a gonad is?
That's their scrotum. The scrotum.
Yes. Your testes or your ovaries. I mean, imagine somebody, holding radiation up to your testicles. Just because we want to find out stuff.
And radiation burns.
Yes.
So it's the same as holding a hot,
it's torture.
Iron,
Yes.
It's the same as being branded.
Yes. So that's why I'm having a hard time kind of comparing that level of abuse to failing to give proper education.
Well, it's interesting, but it can, if you look at, let's take this current situation with all these black teachers in Atlanta going to jail for a long time for responding to a system that required them to deliver something they were ill-equipped and didn't have the resources to provide, because somebody made a decision that this is the best way, and you can meet it, and if you don't meet these numbers, well, that's that. Then you're going to suffer for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but still, the children are being tortured, perhaps not physically, but psychologically and emotionally. And I like that she said systematic strategies, because it made me think, where did all this illogic come from? If we know today that, these things are dangerous and deadly, and
they knew then.
Yes, yes. And I'm sure there's still things going on now that they know are dangerous and deadly, like fluoride and chemtrails and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
And still they're experimenting on you, and they'll tell you one thing, and when something else is actually going on, until you figure out what's happened. And so I kind of think that it's an issue of money, opportunity, and a lack of reprisals, maybe, because if you are in control of the information, then you can control the image not only of the victim, but then the perpetrator. So that's what they were doing back then with their arrogant attitudes, that it doesn't matter what happens to this individual, whatever my goal is, which was, to determine if, whatever, these X-rays or radioactive materials met my thesis, was more important than what I'm doing to these people. And then they knew that the fallacy of that black skin didn't repel radiation any greater than white skin, but they still fed that myth back into the public with their scientific documentation. How can you be a radiologist and you still believe something, and you're killing and burning people, you know it's not true after a while, wouldn't you? But you're still practicing, doing these same practices until somebody tells you, hey, you're going to jail if you don't stop that. And so
They were sadists.
That's what
it must have been. Yeah, and fiendish was an excellent word.
Yes.
It really, really was.
Yes.
Because what is your goal if you're bringing Nazis into your community, your scientific, supposedly rational,
Yes.
well, I like to use humane, but I don't know after reading all the stuff, environment for the good of mankind, and they're like plucking out eyeballs, I don't know, cutting off legs and burning people's scrotums off for their personal satisfaction, because it wasn't scientific, because they already knew this stuff, radiation was, deadly. So it wasn't scientific, it was for personal satisfaction. So whatever that may be.
Thank you. Venita, did you have a perspective on that question?
I was just going to add to what Georgette just said. At some point, that this stuff is what it's doing to folks. But since the beginning of time, they've been on some real Frankenstein freakish stuff. It's just like they like to see people suffer. You know what I'm saying? It's just some real sick, twisted, sick. I mean, you knew it was sick when they invited Nazi scientists here, knowing fully what happened there.
Yeah.
So it wasn't about science at that point. I just think this was some freak, some way they get off on that kind of stuff.
Well,
it doesn't sound very intellectual, but you can't complicate it. It's just some freakish, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they couldn't get what they wanted out of experimenting with animals. They wanted to know the effects it would have on human beings, radiation.